All right, ignore the laundry on the couch behind me. I'm kind of in the middle of that, but this video is going to be pretty insane. Welcome to episode 1 of the series where I build out this very basic coffee product that I sourced off of Supplier into a brand that I would actually run. This video is going to be all about static ads. If you don't already know, static ads are my thing. If you watched the last video where I go over how we generated over $400,000 through multiple brands, a lot of these are purely static ads. My personal brand here, the one that I run on my own, only static ads, only statics. This new personal brand, up until this point, only static ads. We are integrating some UGC as of recently. This brand right here, client brand, only static ads. It is one of the biggest fallacies in e-com that static ads are a backup or a support to video ads. Not true. You just have to know how to make them properly. I wanted to be in graphic design before I decided to do e-com full-time, so they fascinate me. I spend a lot of time on them, and I'm really good at static ads. So how do you understand how to run static ads? Well, it starts by understanding the different kinds of static ads and their purpose. Each ad has a purpose, and if you mess up even a little bit on the purpose aligned with your product, you're going to fail. So it starts by understanding the different stages of awareness, a very basic marketing concept that not enough people understand. The stages a customer goes through to purchase a product. Unaware, they don't know they have a problem. They don't know there's a product. Problem aware, they understand they have a problem. Solution aware, they now see the solution, and you kind of see the process here. One thing people get wrong when they're trying to sell something like this is that every single customer starts here. Not entirely true. There will always be customers that have never heard of beneficial coffee like this. And if you don't already know, this is herbal coffee that actually helps you sleep. So going back here, there will always be people in the unaware stage. There will always be people completely unaware of any brand selling a product like yours. That is true. But it's not about trying to figure out where your customers are, because the truth is there are customers in every single stage of your funnel right now, except for maybe fully aware, because that is completely aware of your brand. It's about understanding where the majority of your customers lie. So if you were even a little bit involved in the e-com space, you're aware of brands like Everyday Dose, Rise, and Javi. Very popular coffee brands that sell coffee that serve a purpose. Protein coffee, mushroom coffee, and then Rise Superfood coffee. They're aware of the general idea that coffee has changed from this caffeinated drink to something that can actually help you and be part of your daily routine. So just by understanding that I have competitors this large, and these would be considered indirect competitors that are selling similar products, we attract the same customers, but they serve a different purpose. And yes, they can be used heavily as inspiration. That's what we're going to be doing in this video for static ads. I can conclude that the majority of my customer base is about in this place. They are not all completely unaware. If you are selling something brand new on the market, which tend to be the things that I sell that aren't supplements or what is coffee even considered? Is it a supplement? Maybe. Those typically tend to be completely unaware, which I talked about in my product research video. If you're gonna sell a pet product, baby product, whatever, it's gonna be, if you're doing it the way that I do it, completely unaware. When something's completely unaware, you have to use statics to your advantage, top of funnel all the way down. What I mean by that, I might not explain it the best way. Start with natives. Start with something to introduce somebody to the fact that there is a problem. Native ads, I can explain what they are, but you've probably seen them. I might just have to point out what they are. I've made videos on them as well and how to make them very well. You can go watch that one as well. It's like a girl with a hoodie on the thumbnail, I think. But native ads are ads that look native to the platform. A selfie, a post, fonts that are native to Facebook, fonts that are native to Instagram, effects, background effects on the text that is native to that platform. And these are great for stopping people, making them read, thinking it's a normal post, just introducing them to the problem. And they can later be retargeted with some sort of middle of funnel ad. Middle of funnel ads take place around here. This is all native. This is all top of funnel. Top of funnel does not mean native, but native means top of funnel. There are multiple different kinds of top of funnel styles you can run, but native is just the most popular. Don't think that native is the only option here, but it's the one that I use. So with all that being said, before you make a singular static ad, understand where your customers likely are in the funnel. Again, for this particular product, I'm going to make my best guess and say they're all about here. They're ready for an opportunity. Maybe bulk here, a little bit here. So middle of funnel ads would suit us best. Middle of funnel ads are probably the majority of ads that you see when you're just scrolling on your phone. Middle of funnel ads are very basic. They show the product, they have the benefits, they're meant to trigger a reaction, meant to trigger a purchase, meant to push you over the edge. Whereas back of funnel ads, meant to clean up bottom feeders, as it says right here. We won't talk about that in this video. This video is going to be about middle of funnel ads because that is the kind of ads I would make for this product if I was actually selling it. So understand where your customers are. My customers are here, therefore I'm going to be going for middle of funnel. Congratulations, you've made it past the boring part of the video. I real quickly had to explain kind of what you're looking for in static ads, the different kinds, and when to use those different kinds. It's extremely important to understand. It can literally be the make or break between a successful brand and one that is not. Now, how do you figure out what kind of static ads to make? One of the biggest things that I get from clients mainly are people saying, I don't know what kinds of ads to make. How do I know what to make? How do I know what they should look like? One of the easiest ways to do this is to repurpose a large competitor. Repurpose, not rip. Two very different things. I use Trend Track for just about anything ad related, whether that is the free extension up here, which I showed you guys in a previous video, to all the tools in their main website here. So I'm going to show you guys how to use Trend Track to find the best ads to repurpose from respective competitors. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we have a couple competitors that we're going to be looking at. Rise being one, Javi being another, Everyday Dose being a third. I think I'm going to focus mainly on Rise and Javi today. So we're gonna go to the ads tab and type in Rise Coffee. Actually, we can do Rise Superfoods and it should pop up, and they're gonna pop up right here. So here we can see all their ads, and we can sort from ad spend. We can sort from status. We're gonna do active only. We're gonna do image ads only because that's what we're making. We're gonna do at least 1 month running, so at least 30 days. And as you can see, it shows all the active ads, but this isn't quite enough. How do we know if these ads are performing or not? This ad's been running for almost a year, so it's safe to say it is, but how can we be sure? Well, what we're going to do is click on one of these ads right here, and we're going to follow Rise on Brand Tracker. And this is an absolute game changer. This is what I use for all market research, all competitor research to see what's actually performing. So as you can see, we have the top performing ads ranked. A lot of them are videos. We need to be focusing on the images. So this is their number 5 best ad. This is their number 2 best ad, and it is indeed a image. So this is very good to see. We're also going to be using their winning hooks and scripts, which again, absolute game changer. You can see here for a lot of our ad copy. We're going to be repurposing their winning hooks and scripts right here. As you can see, they're using this one and 9 ads for 131 days. They're using this hook and 6 ads for 191 days, and their headlines as well. If you've ever wondered what do you write for primary text, headline, description, and meta, here you go. Here's some inspiration. I don't think there's another tool that shows you this stuff. So Pour Yourself a Better Cup of Coffee is used in 7,500 ads, and it's been running for 475 days. You could definitely take some inspiration. I'm definitely gonna take some inspiration from this. We can also check out their testing pattern if you wanna get a deeper look into how they're doing, how they're testing. They launch 84 ads, 97 ads, 154 ads, a rough median of probably 150 ads today, which is absolutely nuts, but that'll be helpful later on down the line. We're also going to be using their ad copy to take inspiration to our statics as well. So ads like this, we're definitely going to want to take inspiration from. We can just right click download media and add it to our Canva folder. I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple of ads scrolling through their top performing and longest running creatives. I'm going to show you guys what I come up with. All right, after looking for a few minutes, I have found 2 high performing ads using the brand tracker for Rise and another brand using the same exact strategy, Javi. I found this ad, which is a very, very, very good, very high converting middle of funnel ad. We're going to be recreating the exact same, but just with our brand. And this bottom one is going to be fun. This bottom one is going to be a lot of fun. This is a very cool ad by Javi, and it has these cool little blurred flying through the air coffee beans. Then looks like a cookie of some sort, sugar cookie, I suppose. We're going to be making our own little version of it. This is like a fun little out of the box one. Christian, if you're watching this, you're getting shouted out right now. Typically, in past videos, I've just used Gemini to generate my images, and they do okay, but the revision is extensive. You have to do generations over and over and over again. I have a coaching client named Christian, and he found this really, really cool software that I want to share with you guys. And it's extremely realistic, extremely accurate, and I've been using it for everything recently. It's called Kai AI. It's just Kai.ai. Kai is spelled K-I-E, and it's very cost efficient, very good, non-sponsored, by the way. You can spend $50, get 10,000 credits. Each generation costs like 24, as you can see. But let's go ahead and make some images. So I'm going to download my main image here, page 1, and then we're going to start with, let's just say the first one, page 2. So when it comes to text, emojis, shapes, stuff like that, I still don't think AI is better than I am. Maybe I'm being ignorant. I don't think I am. I think it's very reasonable. I think when it comes to text, keeping fonts consistent and spacing, AI is just not that great yet. So I only use AI for visuals. As far as the actual graphic design goes, I do not use it. We're just going to have the clean image right here. So let's start with number 1. We downloaded page 1, and this is going to be page 2. And then we already have this imported here. We're gonna add our second file, which should be, make sure I'm not leaking anything. I am. All right, cool. No more leaks. We have the 2 reference photos here, and I'm going to give it a very simple prompt. I'm going to say, please replace the coffee product shown in the second image with the new coffee product shown in the first image. Also make the background a pale green color instead of that cream brown color. Very simple. I'm going to say, please retain, or please forest decaf at the bottom, And then I'm going to make the aspect ratio 4:5, and I'm just going to do a 2K resolution image. Then we're going to give it some time and we're going to see what it generates. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first successful generation here. So I'm just going to layer it over top of this one right here, and we're going to take a look at it. I still have not seen it in full quality. So once it loads, let's see what we're dealing with. All right, close AI inspection. Like I said, this is super impressive. This is, look at the text. It is perfect. It is literally perfect. On this one, I'm going to change the cookies as well, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's actually do this page 4 next. So we're going to download page 4 here. And then we're going to move back here, remove this second photo. Once this downloads, we're going to drag it. I guess you can't drag on this. All right, let's add more files. Thankfully, I'm not leaking anything anymore. So go ahead, add that. And coffee product, please replace the product shown in the second image with the new coffee product shown in the first image. Background pale green color, text. All right, I'm going to say also replace all wafer cookies in the second photo with cute cartoon sheep, because this is a sleep product. So go ahead, rerun this in 2K, and we're gonna give it a few minutes and see what it generates. Okay, so I've decided on the final two. So obviously this is one that we just made, and this is a super fun visual. But hey guys, future Adam here. So spoiler alert, these are what the ads are gonna look like, but that visual that has popped up on the screen of the sheep, something just looked a little off. It looked a little boring or like bad. After I was editing the video, I was like, I need to make this better. It really doesn't look like something I'd upload. So I went back in and made the sheep kind of playful and fun, and now the ad looks kind of funny. The sheep's even upside down. So the video is gonna go on, and I'm gonna continue editing this ad, and the sheep are just gonna be kind of boring. But keep in mind, I added it. I'll show you guys the prompt. This was the prompt. And it made the sheep look really cool and fun. So this is the real final rendition of the ad after some final revisions. But yeah, it looks super cool. I'll let you guys get back to watching. I think this is a pretty cool visual. It's gonna draw some eyes for sure once we add some text. If you zoom in a bit, you can see it's the same kind of blurry vibe with the coffee beans. And these sheep are really fun. They're cool. When it comes to static ads, you gotta have crazy stuff like this to get eyes. And genuinely, you gotta think outside of the box a little bit. So as far as graphic design, I have the original ads behind, but it doesn't mean we can just copy the text for fun, because a lot of these don't actually apply to what we're trying to hit. Again, we're trying to hit here. Most of the ads that we picked graphically are, ads are not graphically bound to any part of the funnel. Like it's not, you don't have back of funnel visuals, you know? You don't have top of funnel visuals necessarily. It's all in the copy. Most of the copy for the ads that we chose is down here. An example for you. Here, free gifts plus shipping, again, very back of funnel. We're not doing that. Remember, we're trying to hit here. Our copy has to be here. We have to assume they saw a top of funnel ad. We have to assume they're aware of the problem that they are having, and we are here to introduce this opportunity. We're here to introduce an opportunity. That is all. So again, we can't really use this, stock up on all the cozy fall flavors. That doesn't help us at all. That doesn't help us present an opportunity. Our goal is to present an opportunity. Now, as far as graphic design goes, start with the font. So with the font, I kind of have a lot in my head. I'll just give you guys a couple real quick. If you want to go for something super fancy, like luxury vibe, make sure your visual matches, of course, but use the Seasons, a very good font. We're not going to be doing that because I want to go for this bubbly kind of playful vibe for the whole brand. So Poppins. Poppins, again, classic Shrine theme font. It's what Shrine theme users use. And this is going to be our text of the day for these ads. So a couple quick graphic design rules when it comes to placing text. Never make your text black or white. There's never a reason for text to be black or white. It looks bad. It looks very bad. Make your text the darkest shade of your primary color on the page. Mine is green. You should have a color code like this. Therefore, the text is going to be the same dark green used on the bag, just like this. So text here, this is where our hook is going to go. You want to make sure with your static ads, you have a lot of space at the top. Space at the top, I'm kind of subconsciously doing this. I need to get better at telling you guys when I'm doing something like this. When I find these images and generate these shots here, I'm leaving space at the top. I'm picking images that have a ton of space at the top. They also do this. Javi also does this on purpose. So make sure you have space on the top. Don't have a crowded visual. Very important. So again, hook placement right here. And we can use the same font color because again, we get the same general visual, same product. So right there. Now we have to assess the other space in the ad. Here we have a ton of space on the left side and we have a ton of space on the bottom. So what we're going to do is make a bolded list. Actually, we're not going to do a conventional bolded list. We're just going to do your typical, I'm just going to do your paragraph to shorten it for a second. And what I'm doing will make sense in a second. I'm going to left align this. I'm going to line it up with the edge of this Y here so it kind of looks like this. And I'm going to add, let's say 3 here. Looking quite nice. And then here, gonna right align, which again, this will all make sense in a second. I'm kind of mapping out the text. If you haven't already followed along, again, look at this, make sure this lines up pretty well. So right about here is perfect. Make sure everything lines up. Everything, look, lines up. This is dead center. Right aligned, left aligned. You'll see why in just a second. Mapping out the text is very important when making statics. This text is mapped out. It's going to be very easy to make this ad now. This ad's a little bit more complicated, just a little bit. So for this ad in particular, we don't have a lot of space. And this is not a bad thing. It just means that we're not going to be able to type as much, so our words have to have more meaning, have to get the message across quicker. So what we're going to do is have text here, then have subtext here. So let me start labeling these. Hook text goes here, subtext. This one's not gonna have a CTA on the visual. It's gonna have a CTA probably in the primary text or obviously the CTA button on meta. So here, CTA, right aligned, benefit, and then hook goes here. So by assessing the space we have in these ads, we can figure out where to put text. That's how to keep them from looking messy. So as far as hooks and benefits goes, we don't have to make it too complex. Don't overthink it. When it comes to static ads, when you're testing, volume is best. Going super deep into exactly what kind of copy to write, it's not, I don't want to say it's not important because you should pay attention to your copy 100%, but if you take 2 hours for each ad, you're not going to be very efficient, not going to be very productive. The guy that's spamming ads is going to be quicker than you. He's going to find results. He's going to find data quicker than you. So you have to kind of find a happy medium between making ads quickly and making sure they look quality like this. So not full Gemini generating your ads, but also not spending a full day on each ad. You know, you can do that once you know what works. But as of right now, you don't know what works. I don't know what works for this. We're just testing things. So I already went over kind of a full customer breakdown in a previous video. This was just about static ads, but we are aware that a mass desire comes from not being able to sleep. People have the mass desire to sleep better, sleep quality. They try melatonin, they try NyQuil, they try all these things. It does not work. So, or actually I have an idea. So I'm going to save that. So hook idea, I'm going to try to target the mass desire of people who use NyQuil, melatonin, and get 0 results. So very simple. Melatonin has nothing on us. Very easy. Now I'm going to mess with the spacing here, but let's just put this as the hook. We're gonna make this look good in just a second. So a couple benefits here. Again, we have benefits in the website from the last video. All natural coffee, sleep quality. I want to change the word promotes. Helps sleep quality and 0 grogginess. Very cool. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna do all natural blend just because coffee sounds a bit basic. The CTA. Today. Okay. So very basic setup of this ad. I'm actually going to lowercase. Go retype it. Goose off today. All right, cool. So very basic level for this ad. Let's make this look good. So immediately, this is too cramped. This is too cramped. We're going to take the line spacing and drag it up. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, nice. Okay, center aligned. Now we can afford to make it a bit bigger. Very, very cool. Okay, nice. Now the call to action. I always do the same thing for call to action. Check this out. If you type in pill into Canva, you can find a flat element that looks like this. And this is very, very useful for right aligned CTAs. And you'll see the vision in just a second. So as you can see, looks very nice. Now remember, when it comes to buttons or stuff like that, never ever use black or white. We don't want to make this white. We don't want to make it black, of course, it would blend in. We are going to work off the colors that we have. So we have darks and lights. I'm going to do something called an inverse color, which is basically when you take the button, you color match your font to the button, you take the text in the button, and you color match it to the background behind the button. It kind of gives you that hole in wall effect, right? As you can see. So melatonin has nothing on us. Very cool. Mass desire wants to get off melatonin. And this is also a kind of indirect hit here. Melatonin, one of its biggest complaints is that it causes major grogginess in the morning. I just know that, but that's something that you would kind of figure out through extensive research on, I don't want to consider melatonin a competitor, but extensive research on what people would take instead of your supplement or coffee. And then kind of try to figure out what they don't like about that, if that makes sense. I hope I did a good job explaining that. It's kind of hard to articulate that. But for me, I'm aware that the people who could potentially buy my supplement are already trying to remedy their sleep. Again, they're problem aware. They're ready for this, for an opportunity to get off melatonin. That's one of the big things, one of the most basic things. Melatonin causes grogginess. That's a powerful benefit. Cool, right? Now we're going to reformat a lot of this because we shortened this text box so it's not lined up anymore. So what we're going to do is make it a bit bigger. We don't want to make it so big that it is hugging, because we could make it this big, but then it's hugging this and it's hugging this. Empty space is extremely valuable. Use it. So I'd say this is about the biggest you can go. And then we can begin to drag these in to be more in a line. But again, we don't want them to be too close to the coffee. I don't think this is too close. This looks nice. I'm going to make them a bit smaller because we are going to be adding emojis. So I'm going to account for those and make them a little off-center. 50% off today is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and look up emoji. And we're going to use this for our bullet points. Just going to paste it in front here. All right, and then again, going to select all of them and line them up perfectly. And we are looking quite good, man. So already looking nice for this one. Very middle of funnel. You'd assume somebody sees a top of funnel ad, then they see this one after the fact. And I could tell that was a little bit, I have a very good eye for when things are out of line. I could tell that that was out of line just by looking at it. Yeah, this is very middle of the funnel. People see your top of funnel ad, or in my case, you're not going to run top of funnel ads because people are already very aware of coffees like this. They know what it is, and they see this, and this could potentially present an opportunity to them. So this is an example of a middle of funnel ad that is made with intent quickly, but not too quickly. So this looks like something you'd see on Rise's website. Again, if we were to group everything in this photo here, let's group it with the actual visual as well. So this too, this, and all of that. Again, let's go ahead and get a little side by side here. Ignore the call to action. As you can see, very parallel in quality. It's like the same. So that is how to do that. Gonna make sure I got all this right. Okay. I'm gonna group everything. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, cool. Next one. So this one is gonna be a bit more difficult. That has to rid of curiosity. So check this out. I was gonna use this for the first one, but what if coffee made you sleepy? Now, obviously, it's not difficult to understand why this is a good curiosity driving line of text. Coffee's not supposed to make you sleepy, obviously. But what if it did? I have a very similar hook in another brand, one of my personal brands that I'm running, and it is killing. What if coffee made you sleepy? I love the world's first angler. We formulated the world's first sleep supporting coffee. Twice as powerful as melatonin. Zero crash. All right, now with subtext, you don't want it to be too small. You want it to be readable, but you also want it to, you also want it to look nice. So what we're going to do is unbold it. We're going to bold the important parts, italicize other parts, make it look nice, like this. See? Very cool, right? No CTA. This could almost be considered a top of funnel ad, but still nonetheless a great ad to run. Great ad to run. I mean, I say it could be considered top funnel because, again, think about the type of person that would see this. If this was the first ad somebody saw of yours, it would definitely gauge interest. They might click. They're probably not going to buy. Then they get hit with this right after. They're probably going to purchase. You see what I mean? But another great example of a great ad. This is very beginner level graphic design. A lot of my other videos, I do like shading and grain layering and all this stuff. This is how to make ads like this if you're just a normal person that doesn't want to get into all that. I understand if you don't want to. But this, no excuse not to do this at all. So two very nice middle funnel / top of funnel static ad that would genuinely be uploaded into my Facebook ad account. Not random ads, not completely just off my brain. These are ads that were taken from competitors, indirect competitors that we know are performing. And yeah, and this is how to do it. So do it with intent. That's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned for episode 2 of this series, where I'm going to mess with the website. I'll see you guys around. Peace.